Welcome to Judge Blab, the fifth one, American Travels with Sonia L'Hopital. How did I go on pronouncing your surname there?
It's fine. It's L'Hopital, so it's fine, don't worry.
Cool. Thanks. Okay, I'm just going to go quickly through a little bit of your intro of who you are, of what I could scrape out of Judge Apps. I'm thinking it's a great idea to try and boost the signal of the recognitions by going through some of your recognitions. You've got two back from the second wave. Jason Wong gave you recognition for excellent performance at GP Ottawa. You managed to silently take charge of the Sunday Super Series events, both in terms of making sure the rounds turned around quickly and also to keeping the tournament on track when our head judge was busy dealing with a problem player. It was great to have someone dependable to give the reins to during the day. And in the same wave, I love these awesome surnames. Daniel Kachewski. That's probably
everyone call him Daniel K. Don't worry.
Yeah, I like to try. The worst I am is wrong. He gave you recognition for last year. You and Gerard made extra effort in certification and recruitment during big tournaments, while Gerard focused on other things that were already blah, blah, blah. You chose not only certify, but also create a standard and judging to as many as you could, greatly improving our visibility. Your actions showed us that it could be done, and 3 months later, his RC started touring PTQs and opened up stands to meet judges. Thank you for showing the way there. Yeah, I just think it's a good idea to do that because it's nice. Repeat what people have been saying that's nice about you.
Gerard and I were captain of region, and we were in charge to create new judges because we were lacking a lot of level 1 in France at this point.
Yep.
And in the events that I was judging, at the start of the day, I was saying in the announcement, I was saying, "Hey, my name is Sonia, I'm level 2. If you're interested to join the judge program, or if you want to have more information about judging, please feel free to ask me questions during the day. We can discuss." And because I did that, you create ideas in the head of people that they can maybe think about judging.
Yeah.
When if you say nothing, they will have to do the work by themselves. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just to push them a little bit.
And it's a time that you've got some players' attention, so...
Yeah. Well, trying to.
Okay, onwards. Judge Apps records that you've done 11 GPs judging?
Judging, I did 10. The 11th one was GP Lille when I was a part of the staff. I helped organizing the judge dinner because I was from the city or from the region.
Okay, cool.
So only 10 GPs.
Only 10. Those of us in Australia remember when 10 GPs meant you'd been judging for 10 years.
Yeah, or 5 years, because you have 2 GP per year.
Now we have 2.
Right, okay.
And I also dragged up that as a player, you got to play in Pro Tour Oath of the Gatewatch, which was a few weeks ago now.
That's why I was in Vancouver, because I was qualified for Atlanta, and I managed to negotiate to have a flight which were going through Vancouver 1 week before, so I was able to judge this event.
Yep, that's nice and convenient and cost effective.
Yes. Well, it's affordable like that. I mean, I think in the total travel, I spent like $200 when you do the plus and the minus.
Yeah.
Thanks to judging in Vancouver, so it was fine.
Yeah.
So it's a good way for traveling to win some RPGQ.
Luckily, that's not the only way to get to GPs.
No, luckily.
Yeah. How did you do in the Pro Tour?
Not very good. I did 1-2 in draft, and I did 1-4 in modern, so I finished 2-6, which is not very good. Anyway, I think I don't think I did the good choice for the deck, according to the new ban list. I wasn't expecting Eldrazi to be so crazy.
Yeah.
And I was
you still managed to
anyway.
You still managed to win a round in both formats, so you could have done worse.
In modern, I won against Patrick Chaplin. I'm very proud of that.
That doesn't come easily ever, I'm sure.
So yeah, it was a great moment actually.
Yeah. What was your record when you played Patrick?
It was the second one of modern, and I lost the first one, so I was on 1-3.
Yeah.
I don't think he did very well in draft.
Yeah, but it's still a match that was live for trying to make day 2, which is what some people care
totally.
about.
Yes. Yeah, I was trying to make money. Come on.
yeah. And so was he. Like, you didn't just beat him in a game where he didn't care about winning. So I also Googled around to see what Google pulled up about you, and Google led me to believe that you came third with Mono Green Aggro at a Popolot Super Series event, and that it was what it thought was the most significant thing you'd done. Have you had any other good finishes at tournaments?
So just before coming to Australia, I played the GP Lille in 2015 in Legacy, and I finished in the top 50. I think it was 46. Yeah. So, yeah.
Cool. Now on to... Technically, that was the intro of you. Now let's get on to some other questions. So, how did you start playing Magic?
I'm sure you're asking me this question to everyone. Well, I needed to play something with my brother. We were trying to find a game to play together. My parents were very strict, and we didn't have a right to play computer games or to watch TV. So our only choice was to read books. Setup was pretty boring, and we got lucky. We start with starting deck, like the 40 cards deck, and we start playing with that, with like Angel Sarah Angel and things like that.
Yeah.
And I've been lucky because at high school I had a group of very good friends. We were all playing Magic and playing RPG and this type of fantasy things. So that's it.
Cool.
That's how I started playing Magic.
So when did you get into judging?
4 years ago, I was in Sydney for an internship, and I started playing a lot in competitive events. And one day I went to a tournament very far away from Sydney, like a 2-hour train or something like that. And on the way back, I was with judges because I wanted to watch the top 8. So I finished late, and I came back with them. And in the train, we were talking about judging, and I said, one of the judges said, "Hey, have you ever considered judging?" And it gave me the idea, actually. And that's why I thought about that, and I thought it would be interesting to see another part of it in the tournaments.
Yeah.
Something else. So it was more by curiosity at the beginning.
All right. Okay, so and then so when was it clear to you from the start that you wanted to be a level 2 judge, or is level 2 still only a step on your way to level 3?
For me, I wanted to judge GP because I went when I arrived in Sydney to GP Melbourne, and it was like it's very exciting to be a part of this event as a player, and I really want to judge a GP as a judge. And it was I have been created, in the time when we start to separate level 1 and level 2, level 1 for regular, level 2 for competitive. And I've been told, because it was the new area, they were trying to push this, that I will never be able to judge a competitive event as level 1, and I will never be able to judge a GP as level 1. So, which is quite funny because my first event as a level 0 was a competitive event. Like a WMCQ, like 100 player. But that's why also I decided I thought about being level 2 at some point.
Yeah. Do you have any aspirations to level 3, or 2 is good enough?
I think I'm really interested in some part of judging which are more for level 3. So one day I will think about it. However, I think level should come with competence. So I will think about level 3 when I will think I'm ready.
Yeah.
And because I am in Australia, I think if you want to be level 3, you should have a good relationship with the judges, and also over level 3s, because you're going to work with them. So I want to have more links in the Australian community before even thinking about it.
Yeah.
I have a lot of experience in tournaments. I have, as a judge, I have a lot of experience, as you can see. As you told, I've done 10 GPs, and even more as a player, actually. However, for me, I want to be ready.
Yeah. I do think the experience of playing in GPs is quite important to judging at that level.
I think that's also why it was very interesting for me to play in the Pro Tour, because I've been able to really understand what can be when you're under the pressure. At a certain point, I went to lunch because they told me that there was half an hour for lunch plus the 20 minutes left in the round. So I left for lunch, and when I came back, so I was supposed to come at 1:50, and I came back at 1:45, and I arrived, and it was like a nightmare. Like the round started, and you are in the Pro Tour when you're going to take a tardiness for that.
Yeah.
And I got very, very stressed. And I on my way to the tournament, I saw the judge who told me you have 30 plus 20 minutes. So I grabbed him and I brought it to the head judge. I was this guy. He told me I could come back at 1:50. Please, this is not my fault. But this is very little, actually, when you think about from the point of view of the judge, right? But when you have such a pressure as a player, it's something actually very big.
Yeah.
So I think for judges should at least have some experience in competitive events to understand this type of thing.
Yeah, and if they haven't, they need to spend some serious time thinking about what actually happens and what goes through players' heads.
Yeah. I see some judges being pissed off because the players ask them to go to toilets. However, when you're a player, sometimes you have additional turn, and after the round start, and you don't have a time. And at some point, you have to go, and this is fine. we shouldn't be ashamed by doing this time of these little works because they are actually important for the event.
Yeah. The other option of not letting them go is just so much worse.
Yeah, I don't want to think about that.
Okay, on to the next question. What is the best thing a judge has done for you during one of your tournaments?
So many things. Like, it's difficult to think about one example because judges are doing amazing work all the time. They work for like almost nothing, and they don't look at the time when they finish or when they start. So I have a lot of examples. I can give you one. At the end of I was judging a GP Utrecht, and I did a very, very long day because I was in a leadership position. So I wanted to keep going because I wanted to be sure everything was all right and was under control, and the judges took the breaks and things like that. So at one point, Stefan Laster, level 3 from Austria, I think. He went and he said, "Hey, when were you supposed to finish today?" 1 hour ago. Okay. Don't you think you're tired? Okay. Now you're going to take a rest. Your day is over. I will take care of your role.
It's a significant part of why the Australian judges have a tendency to use the word fired when dismissing people. It's the end of your day. You are now fired. Please go relax. Enjoy the rest of your night. Get off your feet.
Yeah, because judging in GP is not only judging; it's also meeting people, like finding new friends in the international community, like creating relationship. And if you just exhausted the evening, you can't do that. So yeah, that's one example, I think.
Yeah.
Sorry, you wanted to say something?
I was getting on to the next question. Related to the last one, the best thing a player has done for you during one of your tournaments?
I think the best thing that a player can do is to come to thank you for what you have done, because it's so rare when someone thanks you for what you're doing as a judge, but like when it's happening, it's like it's really nice. I also really like players who are like just helping the events going well. I have a good example about GP Vancouver actually. So player in an event when they were finishing 4-0, they were having like a lot of points and a playmat. But if we were finishing 3-0, they had like points but no playmat. But if they were 3-0-1, so if both of them agree to draw, they will have a playmat and some points. You follow me?
Yep.
Yeah. So two players at 3-0 sat down. So we're supposed to sit down together and play a round or draw, as you can guess.
Yeah.
And one of the players wasn't there, so after 10 minutes we had to give a no-show. And I went to take the prizes, and I came back and I started giving the prizes to the players when we had finished. And after like 20 minutes, this guy randomly showed up and was like, "Hey, I want to take my prize." And I was like, "Okay, what did you do in the last round?" And his opponent came and said, "Hey, my slip is here." So I was like, "So you weren't here for your round, so you lost your last round, so you are 3-0, so you have your points, that's your points." And because he didn't have a playmat, he started crying. You see what I mean, right?
The entire point of entering it was he wanted the playmat, right?
Yeah, exactly. And like you should have just draw. That's what we will that's what it was going to happen. Like every period 3-0 I've drawn because the points were like it was very interesting to draw. And the player who have won, because this guy didn't show up, took his point, took his playmat, and say, hey, like, don't cry, it's fine, don't worry. And he gave a playmat. And I was so impressed by this spirit. I say, okay, so I wait for the player to leave, because like I was a judge, I couldn't like say, hey, sorry, like I authorized your draw. Like, no, it was late, like 20 minutes, 25 minutes. However, I said to the other guy, like, wait, sit down, I will be back. And I went straight to the organizer and I say, hey, I saw this situation. This guy is awesome. He's actually bringing so much good spirit in your event. Do you authorize me to give him an extra playmat? And but he was like,
from the TO's point of view, he was expecting everyone to draw the final and just take playmat each. Like, he'd already factored in the cost of the playmat.
Exactly. So so I came back and I say, okay, I would like to give you still the playmat and I would like to give you thanks from the organizer, because I think this is awesome. Because you're awesome. So yes, that's I think one of the best thing I saw from a player.
Much better than your previous answer if someone gave you chocolate.
I like her so much. I love chocolate.
Okay. On to GP Vancouver. So, why did you want to judge GP Vancouver?
I already work in GP Ottawa, and so it was 2014, and the Canadian judges are awesome. They are very funny. They are a little bit messy. However, because they don't have a lot of experience judges, so like some mess can happen. But actually, it's when, for me, from my point of view, as an experienced judge, is when it's funny, actually. When I can run and fix things. And yeah, like, Canadian judges are just awesome. So friendly, so welcoming. So that's why.
Cool. I think we might have already mentioned some of this, or it might have been in the before recording. How did you arrange your travel and that side of things? You know, did you travel with some friends, stay with friends, etc.?
Well, my flight was paid by Wizard because I was going to the project on the way, and I found a very cheap hotel. I was very proud of me, and I shared it with Emilien Wide, level 3 from Belgium.
Yep.
However, this guy is snoring a lot, so it was pretty not a good plan. Like the Friday evening, I have slept, I think, 2 hours in the bath because it was very noisy.
Yeah,
so it was the Thursday. It was the Thursday.
I've had similar complaints about people staying with me at times.
Okay, I will take in note that. I will remember that.
I believe I'm not as bad as I have been.
Okay. But Emilien is very kind because he knows that he has this problem. So he brought with him some earplug for me. So I couldn't ask him because he was sleeping. However, with the morning I get up, I was like, of course, like not very awake at all. And I was grumpy, of course. And he said, hey, you should have just wake me up. Like I would have give you something.
Yeah.
Anyway. So yeah, that was my organization. Wonderful organization.
I think a general rule of thumb is people who snore a lot get back to sleep basically. So waking them
Yeah, I
isn't
saw
a big
that. It
deal.
was very quick to fall asleep. Yeah.
And I've always, when swimming with other judges, I always, because I know I snore, I try to make sure I get to sleep last so
Yeah.
that other people might be asleep and I might not wake them while snoring.
Yeah.
Little things that try and make me less of a horrible person.
Yeah. I see what you mean. That's nice. But yeah, I think like when I'm traveling to GPs, I'm trying to be with other judges because we don't have a lot of opportunity to see each other. So that's a good timing actually when you are in GP traveling, and also you save some money, of course, by sharing accommodation.
Accommodation is such a big cost. You need to share it with someone. If you don't, you're throwing money away.
Mm.
Okay. Sorry for breaking the fourth wall slightly, but were we going to talk about what your goals for the GP were? Or was that question you don't have good answers for?
Well, actually, at every event, usually I'm trying to set up a goal. On this one, it was more like trying to handle every challenge I got.
Yeah.
And also, like, going to an international event is also like learn from other people and trying to teach few tricks to other people if you have the possibility. Because like in different continents or different countries, you don't have the same way to work. So I like to exchange. That's also why.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't like a big goal. Usually I'm setting up something bigger, but with this event it was more like that.
Yeah.
But the goal changed in the middle. After lacking of sleep, my new goal was to survive to this event. So to handle my energy and to be able to finish the event, the weekend of 3 days without a lot of sleep. I did well.
Yeah, that
So yeah.
can be a challenge.
Yeah.
So
the
what
Friday,
team?
sorry.
Yeah. So what teams were you on for the GP?
Yeah. So the Friday I was on side events. The Saturday I was on logistic, and the Sunday I was also on side events. So the Friday I was so I can't remember. I arrived at midday. I can't remember what I did between midday and 4. And after, I'm sorry, it was probably flooring or helping. And after I've been the head judge of around 90 players sealed,
Yep.
which was starting at 5. So between 4 and 5, I prepare the event. So I make sure I had product. I made sure I have judges, which is actually something very often tricky, because you have like the side event manager is going to say, hey, you can take this guy. Okay, I take this guy. You sit down and you stay here. I will be back. You came back, he's gone. So you take another guy, and after you have another guy, and you are like very happy, you have already 2 judges with you. Haha, you're going to handle them. You're trying to make part of the event, and suddenly the side event manager say, oh, we needed like someone like urgently. Can I take you 2 guys? Damn it. So as a head judge of a side event in GP, so you have different things to do, and a part of it is to be able to make you side event manager feel your event is going to be important and you will need judges at a specific time, and sometimes a little bit earlier than when it starts. So when I got my judges and my product, so my first judge prepared the table number. My other judge took the product. We arrive in this area. Another judge joined us, so we were like 4 judges to distribute the product. So I say, hey, we want to be deck checked, we want to be pairing, and we want to do Hennathon. All right, let's go. Pairing guy, where do you go to put your pairings? And you look at me and you say, I am going to grab some pairing board. Okay, do that. Awesome. Deck check team, where are our registration, like our deck list? I am going to grab that. Great. And the last guy, I say, okay, thanks, that's great. Can you just ask, I can't remember, ask something to the side event manager? Or like, I think he went to take some more product. Anyway, so my event was supposed to start at 5. And I set all these judges as 5 to 5. And at a certain point, I was like, just before 5. And I was on the floor, I was like, alone in an empty area. I was like, this event is going to be fun.
90 players isn't that many.
Come back. I knew we were going to come back, but as a head judge, you are like, I spent like half an hour to be able to have judges, and suddenly, poof, no more judges, no more player. But after that, they came back and we started the event, and it was fine. So that was Friday. The Saturday, yeah. Do you mind if I'm going to put some light? Just give me a sec.
All right.
Sorry. So the Saturday I was in logistic. So What is logistic?
I mean, I know, but not everyone.
Come on, Gareth.
Logistics, all the things that aren't deck checks and paper team.
Right. So it's where you put everything else, which can go messy, right? It's actually one of the teams that I prefer because it's like all the time like challenging and you can be sent anywhere.
Yeah.
But in SEAL tournament, the logistic team usually handle 2 main challenges. The first one is the distribution of a product, which start at usually 9 o'clock, and the judges arrive at 8. In this event, we have 1,800 players, which means around 10,000 booster packs to handle.
Was the event near capacity or at capacity?
We were like, I think 1,900. We were supposed to have maximum 2,300 players.
Yeah.
And so we are missing like a little bit more than 300.
Yeah. But fullish.
Yeah, so we were like good in the number of judges.
Yeah.
Like it was like we were supposed to have a good number of judges. We had the luck to have an entire team which prepared the product the Friday. So they put the booster packs in boxes, as you may know. So you need 6 boosters, and you set up 8 players in a box. So we had a lot of box full of booster packs anyway. We had to distribute deck list to players. We had to distribute waivers. We had also to distribute the promo card and to give to everyone pen to register the pool.
Yep.
It sounds easy. It sounds actually easier because we had, So we had like 4 rows, 4 columns of players, and we were 4 teams. So our plan was to say, hey, judges, you're going to distribute this. You have your column. Here you are. in the middle of the distribution, basically, I think I spent 5 minutes giving the product to my players. And I saw my team was doing well, and I saw all the other team were in mess. So I just like rush and help, and we don't have this deck list, and help in this hole, which in this area which has no deck list, and there is like no waiver. Okay, I go there, and like my team was fine because we had like a 3/4 of a column, so I wasn't essential to the team. So, and we were like, the logistics team is actually responsible of the distribution, which is going well, which has like, you understand me? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just said to my team leader, hey, I'm going to help them over there. And he was like, okay, no worries. And basically that's been my distribution to do that. The problem when you think about the distribution of a product, it's the only time in the GP that you can lose a lot of time in the event.
You lose so much time.
Yeah, that's why logistic team is important in an event, and that's why this specific timing in an event, especially in sealed or limited event, is very, very challenging. Because every minute you lose is going to be a minute in extra time for all the entire tournament at the end of the day.
Yeah. It can even be worse than that, because if you're taking so much time giving out the product that the players get unruly, when you're then trying to give an announcements, you waste more time getting their attention again.
Yeah.
It can be worse than 1 minute, wasting 1 minute.
So I spoke with Jared about that. In a Star City game, actually, they set up an entire box with everything in, and they just give the box to the player.
Yep. I'm not a fan of... they put everything into a deck box for each player,
yeah. Oh, more than a deck box, because you have a playmat. Yeah. However, in this event, we had the chance that the organizer set up the foil in a sleeve, and inside the sleeve you had like a ticket to take your playmat to the prize pool or table, like at the start of the event, basically, somewhere. So the judges didn't have to handle that, which was, that handling playmats is very heavy and very time consuming.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're that heavy, you can't really... It's at the limit of what you can carry to carry one row's worth of mats, and then that weighed down, you can't easily get down the aisle to hand them out, and I hate mats. I mean, I love the art, I love using them, but giving them out, it's terrible.
Yeah. So I remember at GP Paris we did a quite effective distribution. The logistics team made a pile of exact number of playmats per row. So when you were taking a pile of playmats, you had exactly the good number to go to finish your row.
Yep.
So, and they did that for deck lists, for waivers, for everything basically. So it was like very easy to give to every judges, because usually you give 2 rows per judge. So you just say, hey, this is for 2 row, go. This is for 2 row, go. Or this is for 1 row, go. And this setup also was quite effective. I'm actually taking the time to think about it, because in this event in GP Vancouver, we lost a lot of time during the morning to do that, because as I told you, there were some areas which were uncovered. So after an event, all the time I'm doing like some timing about I'm taking some time to think about what has been wrong and how we could have improved. And I know GP Sydney is coming soon, so it's also going to be quite challenging, right?
Yeah, I like the way we did it Sydney last year, of the little bags with 6 packs, your foil and your pin.
You mean Auckland, right?
No, GP Sydney just gone last year.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yep.
Right. But how many players do we have? Like 8,000?
You mean 900?
Right.
Yeah.
So
900
yeah, the problem
something.
is like you need to have a capacity to do that on Friday.
Yeah.
When I'm like you need to have a time.
Interesting. One of the things that Joso is doing is getting non-judge staff to help do things. And
Yes.
putting things in bags doesn't need a judge.
Yes, however, staff are
It needs to be
usually
done
more
right.
expensive than judges.
Depends what type of volunteer type things you get.
Mm.
I know that he put out a call to the volunteer list who do the conventions. So do the demoing magic at all the conventions. He's put out a call to that for GP Melbourne for people to help do things like artist wrangling and lots of those things that volunteers tend to do, but we get judges to do, which kudos for him to think of ways to do sensible things there. So it might be interesting if he decides that that might be done by other volunteers on Friday.
Yep, I see what you mean. Or to take more judges on Friday.
Or
because
that.
usually you take less judges on Friday.
Yeah. This GP Melbourne coming up is actually my first GP that I'm not working Friday.
When you were not working what?
Not on staff for the Friday.
Sorry, can you repeat?
Yeah.
Right.
Which is a first for me. I've always worked all the days of the event.
Yeah, I think it's like it was. I think Australia, New Zealand was one of the only area which was still doing that.
Yeah.
However, now with the change of Wizards is giving less foil, it's not giving any foil. The TO has more expenses. Like it's more expensive to take a judge, so that's why they reduce the number of judges for Friday.
Yeah. Also, with the constructed events, you don't have those extra logistic things that you sort of offloaded onto the extra judges of Friday. So that's one advantage for Melbourne.
Yes. And it's going to be like 900 players?
I wouldn't be... the cap is, I think, 1,100. Please see our previous lab.
Around 1,000?
Cap was. Yeah. I'd like to think we're going to get over 1,000, even though it's modern.
Yep.
But we'll all blame modern if we don't get there.
It's going to be fine. So to keep going on the Saturday, so the second responsibility of logistics team is the end of round procedure.
Yep.
So to take care of taking the reduced sleep, from players and bring them back to the scorekeeper at the end of round. So why do we do that? To avoid to have players who put the reserve sleep in the pocket and leave with it. It's quite time consuming, right?
Yeah.
As usual, it's the same philosophy. The logistics team is here to try to win time, basically.
Yeah. And the end of round is one of the biggest sinks for time.
Yes. This Saturday was a little bit messy because so our team leader was a part of a panel of one of the judges in the team. And the panel was going to happen the Sunday. So the level 2 was a little bit stressed because he was with the guy he was going to be in panel the Sunday.
Yeah.
So we had some fun during this end of round when he was in charge of sending judges and controlling which table are left, or it was good.
Yeah.
So yeah, at the same at a moment, like when I realized it was going to, like I saw it was going to be like as messy, I help him. So he was, he has like his big piece of paper with all the table left, and
Yep.
was trying to send judges. And I just stay on his side, and I was taking the result slip from judges and player with like a big smile and like a lot of energy raising, like, hey, I'm here, to give it to me. So he had more time to focus on what he was doing.
Yeah. At an event that size, it's a high stress job.
It is, because you really know that you are between the players, the judges, the scorekeeper, and also the head judge, who is in charge to make everything go fast. And if it's not going fast enough, he will try to push you to make the thing fast enough.
Yep.
So you're pressurized between a lot of things. And you know that like every second you lose is for the tournament, so that's why.
I don't think I've actually been the person with the clipboard at an event with more than 300 tables. So
It's quite funny.
I'm only imagining how bad it gets when you're got over 500 tables or close to a 500.
Well, yeah,
or
you have more judges to help
900.
you. So, well, this one was like a double.
Yeah.
But you shouldn't be stressed, because everyone is in your team. Every judge is in your team, and everyone is trying to help you. So you just need to realize what you need to do regarding of timing. So between 10 minutes before the end of the round, you need to start sending judges through the room. But not in only single part. So you need to give them location, like do this column, go to the end of this column and come back. And like that, you have a flow which is coming to you little by little. And usually around the end of the round, you need to know how many tables you have left and to send judges to specific table. So for that, the scorekeeper will give you a page with the table he has left, with the result missing. So every judge you have, who is coming back to you, you just send him to a table. If there are no players over there, you need to check through the paper slip. And if you don't have a result still, you need to call the players.
Yeah.
Because if you have this result missing, if everyone has finished, the time the player will come to you, it's going to be an additional time to your event, right?
Yeah.
So that's the philosophy, is basically to check all the table which are still playing, and to try to have all the, according to the table missing, sending judges to the table, and to have all the table covered by judges. Judges usually love to do that, because they're going to sit down.
Yeah. I know I get a little bit frustrated when I've been sent to about the fourth table that's finished and the slip had got back to the guy before I got there. And
there is a good trick actually for that. When you send to a table, and if you see a judge coming back with paper slip on your way to go to the table, you just ask him, hey, do you have the table number X?
Doesn't
and
always
if he
work.
has it, you can just come back with him.
Yeah.
Yes, of course. But
there's multiple routes in most rooms.
Yeah. So yeah, that was the Saturday. The Sunday, so I was again inside event. I was in what I call Superman team, which is a team which is not assigned to anything, and you are here to help what can be messy, or also to give breaks to judges.
Yeah.
So it's something that you're going to, like, when you're in this team, that you're going to do a lot of different things. So that's why I like this team. You're right?
I was just distracted by the dog scratching on the front door that was open, but the wife is taking care of that.
Awesome. So my second task, which was unofficial, was to take care of level 1. So he was supposed to follow me during the day, and I was helping him and mentoring him or shadowing him. I think he was a little bit shy, and maybe, I don't know if it's not really autist, but like very close on himself. So that's why he had difficulty the Friday and the Saturday, because he wasn't talking to other judges. He wasn't taking initiative. So my role was to push him a little bit to make him having a good day, basically, or trying to. So I start the day by giving a break to the head judge of a Super Sunday standard. So I did some standard, 1.5 hours. And after I did some modern during 1 hour, so taking the lead of the modern event. So giving a break to the head judge of this event. And after I was the head judge of the commander. And after, what did I do? So all the time this judge was following me. So he did like a lot of different tasks, which was awesome for him. And after, at the end of the day, that's where I think I lose a little bit of points on my goal, which was saving energy. I was leading the team, which was in charge of cleaning the room. So removing table number, removing the little circle thing middle where you put the table number.
Yeah, we all know what they are.
The banners, yeah, you know, the banner, the new banner, which are in S, awful. Yeah, we had a lot of. Yeah, you will see in Melbourne. You will be not very happy. And yeah, all the pairing goals basically. So I wasn't in European GP, and all the GP that I have done, I never did this task, and usually it's the staff which is in charge of doing that. So I wasn't expecting to do this difficult task. So I didn't save energy to do like some physical work.
Yeah.
So that's why it was a little bit challenging.
Taxing.
It was very funny. The Sunday when the side event manager came and say, "Hey, we need to clean the room. So your new goal is going to take every judge except the judge in charge of the Super Sunday standard theory, which is still running. You take every judge in the room, which is still in our team, and you take them and you're going to start cleaning the room, and you're in charge of organizing everything." Okay. The problem was like half of the judges in our team, we were supposed to start at midday, have decided to start early and to ask the side event manager, "Hey, I have to leave early. Can I start early?"
Did you put that in your application?
Instead of 10. Yeah. So instead of 10 judges or something like that, we were like 5, which is very different when it's the end of your weekend, the end of the day, and everyone's going to judge dinner and not you. And you're trying to finish that as soon as possible.
The difference between taking an hour to do it and taking 2 hours, because there's half as many of you, is a big deal.
Yes. And this task was quite difficult because you need to be able to motivate your judges, even if it's still the end of the day, but it has to be done, right? And even if all of the judges are going to the judge, not you, and which is actually paid by the organizer. So, like, and as a team leader, you're supposed to say like, "Hey, let's go, let's do it. You need to motivate them," and it's quite challenging.
Yeah.
So yes, this Sunday was difficult because handling this situation and also handling my level 1, which was very shy. And yeah, like I tried to ask him question, and at the beginning, and it was like difficult to answer. Like I asked him like, "Hey, what do you do in life?" Like you ask that very often to judges, right? And he looked at me and he say, "I live," and he left. And I was like, "Okay, hey, come back, tell me more." Yeah. So, but at a certain point, after 2 or 3 hours, I realized that he was very, very interested in judging, very interested in technical cache question. So, like he answered as a level 1 a very difficult rolling without asking me in front of me, and I was like, wow, he has really good knowledge. So he was someone very technical. So as soon as I started asking him this type of question, he started to open himself.
After you got him to open up with technical questions, did you get him back around to the non-technical and get him talking there as well?
Yeah, a little bit. Like, yeah, I think he has a good day. Like, he had an amazing time when 2 players opened a booster box and they gave him all the full art lens. I gave him a break without telling him at this point because he was sitting down with the players and taking every full art lens, like, oh, yes, 1, 2, 3. And I was like, okay, enjoy. Have some good time. So yeah, that was the 3 days.
Cool. So what was the most frequent question from the players at the GP?
Judge, I draw when I by mistake flip the top of my library. All the time.
Yeah.
So it's a sealed event.
Sorry, being distracted by talking to other people.
It's all right.
That's good. Yeah, players do like to make mistakes with the top of their deck, don't they?
Yeah, especially with players which are not used to competitive events.
Yeah.
You know, when you're playing casual events, you don't really mind to flip a card. If your library doesn't matter. Or in competitive events, it's very different.
Yeah, yeah. So were there any particularly silly rulings you had to make during the weekend?
Well, I made a mistake in a ruling at the last round of a Saturday, actually. So you know Kalia, the new legend, the black one. So it has an effect which if a creature will go to the graveyard, instead exile it, and you got a 2/2 zombie.
Not the card I just pasted. Oh well. Yep. Yes. Yep.
So it's a replacement effect, right? Because it's written if something happen, instead do that. Yeah. And this guy, he attack, and his opponent block, and they both forgot to put the card in exile and to get the token, right? And they call me when the turn has 10 and the opponent draw his card from the top of his library.
Yep.
Yeah. So I knew it was a replacement effect. I knew I was supposed to, because it's a change of zone, to exile it and to give him a token. However, I was trying to rush, I think. I forgot to back up. So I just say, because nothing happened in the second main phase and the guy just draw, I say, oh, just take your token. However, when you're doing that, you're doing a backup, so you're supposed to do an entire backup. So you're supposed to come back, give him a token, put your card on the random card from his hand to the top of the library.
Yep.
It's alright, happened. When I finished my ruling, I felt I did a mistake, or I messed up something, and I say, would you like to appeal? Don't worry, it's fine. You're going to have a second opinion from a way more experienced judge than me. Feel free, don't worry. And Jared arrived, and he just backed up, and it was fine.
I know there's been a lot of chat on the judge lists about how to handle those missed triggers with Kalia.
Yes.
If it's too far to not back up, what are your thoughts?
If it's too far?
Yeah, it's been 6 turns since the trigger was missed, the replacement effect was missed.
Well, in the IPG, it says you have to do that, right? However, it's a backup, and the backup should never be done if it's too far away and if you can change the game.
Yeah, but if we're not going to do a backup because it's too far, and there's still the partial fix for a card moves zones to the wrong zone, you put it into the correct zone. So you should take the creature that's in the graveyard and put it in exile.
However, if you do that because the two effects are linked, you're supposed to give a 2/2 zombie. And this is changing the game.
Yeah, my reading of things, I would be exiling the creature and not giving a zombie.
Well, you're actually thinking about a single effect which change zone, right?
Yeah.
But this effect has actually two effects which are linked and which has to happen. Both of them. If you do one, you have to do the second one. And in the IPG, you just think about putting the cards in the right zone, right?
Yeah.
However, this effect is not that. This effect is putting the card in exile and you get a 2/2 zombie. So actually the IPG doesn't apply because this situation is more complicated than the IPG. Do you follow me?
Yeah. To me, it's a partial fix is meant to be partial. It's not going to fix everything.
Partial fix? Come on, repeat this just one more time.
But yeah, the entire point of that section is that we're not completely fixing the game. But we understand that there are some things that shouldn't persist and should be fixed. And one of those is zone changes.
Because hero can happen.
Oh, yes.
It has been done, and sometimes it's too late. Sometimes you're going just to destroy the game if you put the 2/2.
Yeah, to me, putting the 2/2 in the partial fix is a completely crazy thing. That makes no sense to me.
Okay.
But not exiling the creature just because there was meant to be a 2/2 doesn't make any sense. I suspect there's going to be a revision of the IPG that makes this a bit clearer.
Well, the IPG is very clear. It mentioned a partial a fix about a simple situation, which is a card has been put in the wrong zone. this situation is not this. Is not this. It's not simple. Cagliari
Yeah.
is not a simple. It's a simple effect.
Yep. Yeah, I don't think it's clear enough that it's not meant to apply here.
Okay.
Yeah, time will tell.
It's all right. Take the time to think about it.
Yeah, I've been thinking over time. I'm interested, and we'll see where it goes. So on to the next question I've got here.
Sure.
Any stories of how this GP was different to other GPs you've done?
Handling this, monitoring this level 1, because he was such a different type of guy that I'm used in judging, was very different and actually quite challenging. Because you need to be able to have diplomacy in this type of situation, even and very sociable, even if he doesn't want to communicate with you. You just need to be patient and to try little by little to open him, to bring interest. So this GP has been different for this. I also be put in a lot of leadership position in this GP.
Yep.
And leadership position that I wasn't expecting to have. So I haven't been able to prepare. So usually in a GP, I'm preparing myself. So what I'm going to do. So maybe articles I feel I'm not ready. And in this event, the Friday and the Sunday, we didn't know exactly what we were going to do.
Yeah.
So that was quite challenging, actually.
Because you are only a level 2 turning up to a GP. You're not meant to be the leadership of the GP. That's what the L3s are there for, right?
That's true. However, the leadership, the level 3 who were at this event, I've worked with them already, and they know that I'm able to do that. So yeah, I think that's why.
That's probably some of them telling you that you should be thinking about level 3 yourself.
Yes. A little bit, yeah.
Just answering the question in the right there, we're both level 2 judges.
Sorry, what do you mean?
Just answering the question that Vlad's just asked in the chat. We're both level 2 judges.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay, on to the next question. So, did any of the judges at the GP impress you from in how they'd improved since previous events or so forth?
Yes, okay. So at GP Ottawa, I worked with Jason Wong, and he was floor judge the Sunday with me on an event. And he did a good job, but he wasn't in leadership position, so he hasn't been able to shine. You see what I mean?
Yep.
And Friday he arrived, and Kevin say, "Hey, you side event manager, hello." And he handled that very, very, very well.
Side events manager on Saturday is a big job.
Yeah, Friday, sorry, but yes.
Friday, yeah.
So yeah, and he did such a good job that he got a recognition from the TO at the end of the event. The TO did something very nice. He, instead of giving foil, he took some cards, like a green card, I can't remember, like which worth nothing, and he put them in glass. Like he set up like a sort of shard, and with a special word on the shard. Thank you for the deal. Yeah. So it's not like worth of anything, but it's a good memory.
Yeah, it's trying to show that he cares.
Yes, and actually, Moro is the organizer in Canada. He really cares about judges. He really cares about his event, and he's an amazing guy. I really like working with him.
Cool. On to the next question. So, what judge that you met for the first time there did you get very impressed by?
I will have difficulty to say his name. Sorry, Shajdef. Yes, I had to read that to say it. So he was working with me the Sunday when we were cleaning the room, and he actually showed me that he was a very hard worker. Even when we have been said you're fired, even when some like the TO or the side event say you're done, like you can go to a judge dinner, he stayed and helped the staff a little bit more because they didn't know how to finish with the banners. And also like when this level one, because he was tired, he started to be a little bit annoyed and like grumpy. He just like calmed him down with a lot of kindness. So yeah, this guy, I never met him before. I think he's level 1 or level 2, but yeah, he really impressed me for his human skill.
Yep. He's a local in Canada, or?
Yeah, he was local to this level 1, so we knew him from before. Yeah, so Canadian judge.
Yep. Next question I've got is, how did you embarrass yourself at all at the GP? And
yeah,
I know you've already.
Well, as I told you, when I was head judging the super, like I think it was Super Trio Standard the Friday, just before the event, when all my judges disappeared because I've sent them to finish to prepare the event, and I was like, well, I'm going to start the event. Where are my judges? But it was I think the time when I was like, wow, what's happening?
Yep. Cool. That's the end of the scheduled questions.
All right.
But if we have anyone asking anything in the chat, we'll give them a few moments. Is there anything else that any other interesting stories from the GP to tell us?
I think judging GP in a foreign country is also traveling, and I really liked Vancouver. Very, very nice city. And yeah, eating pancakes the morning before an event, it's the best thing you can do, I think. That's it, I think.
Any local cities that you'd compare Vancouver to favorably or unfavorably?
You mean like comparing this city to something else?
Yeah, like, did it remind you of anywhere else that is likely to be familiar to our Australian viewers?
A little bit Melbourne, actually. Close to the coast. And like very friendly, very familial. Like you feel like home. Yep. Well, I guess it's easy because, yeah, for you.
Yep. Okay, I think we're going to wrap up then. Thank you for
Sure.
participating in this interview with me.
Thank you very much for welcoming. It has been a pleasure. And
No worries.
I hope you will join on that.
I will do it as long as people keep agreeing to talk to me. Thank you, and
Thank you.
let's end the recording now.